What's going on YouTube?
Washington.
This is Marty for here once again. Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is your boy Marty for here once again. I know that this review is late, but I'm actually really just now getting around to watching it, catching up, and doing the review because if y'all paying attention to my Instagram, we just released the promo or the teaser for the upcoming reality show that me and one of my good friends are producing here in Atlanta called The Circle Atlanta. You guys, make sure you guys go down in, or check out my Instagram preferably. Check out my Instagram. It is the latest post on my Instagram, the trailer that showcases the entire cast. Shout out to them. Make sure y'all follow everybody. Follow the Circle Atlanta Instagram page so y'all can get all of the upcoming news on this show, which will be coming out next month. So excited for that. So we've been doing a whole lot of stuff for that. That's why I've been kind of a little bit late with this. But be that as it may, I also wanted to, I put a poll on my channel to see like, how are you guys feeling about like continuing these LA like reviews? Because I think like most of you, the show has felt, I'm not as engaged as I usually am with a lot of the chasing shows. Particularly this season. And I mean, I could enjoy watching it, but I'm not as engaged to come back and talk about it, if that makes sense. However, you know, I'm just not gonna, I thought about just maybe do like more condensed videos where it's not like as long discussing like each and every scene and maybe just things about the show that I want to discuss. So that might be my way of doing it without like completely not doing any more videos entirely. So, and I felt like this episode had a lot of, enough great points to talk about and discuss. So, and also let me say this, even though I feel that way about the show, make sure y'all go over to Scotty's channel and watch the episodes of the prelude that we did with the Chasing LA cast, which so far we've been able to do Alicia Love, we've been able to do Jeremy Copeland, and we've been able to do D. Hawkins this previous week. So, and all of which were amazing interviews, all for different reasons. So the interviews really allow me to get to know them as people outside of this platform. And I mean, that's dope because I enjoy them and they've become, you know, really good friends of mine. But I don't know, it's just the show, how it's being put together isn't necessarily doing them as much of a favor as I would like. But be that as it may, we talked enough about that. Let's just go ahead and get into the episode, but I wanted to make sure I gave those clip notes beforehand. So one of the first things that I do want to highlight is Quan and his poetry. I thought his poetry was beautiful. I thought it was very powerful, impactful, and I'm glad that they showcased the full pieces that he decided to showcase, or to recite, excuse me, about, you know, his depression and about his experience with his Black community being a gay person. I think a lot of us who are Black LGBT can relate to, you know, especially during a time like this where we are publicly fighting for our right to exist, you know, and while our, you know, other Black brothers and sisters are fighting for their equality, you know, for their skin color, we're trying to fight for our equality as our sexuality, and yet we're deemed as less than by them, who are also fighting for equality. So it's just very strange, but I love that he, you know, pointed that out and recited that in the form of poetry. I thought that was great. Quan is gonna be on the prelude with Scotty and myself, I believe, on it's either the 29th or 26th. It's the last Wednesday in May. So make sure you go check that out, it's gonna be great. But I want to definitely highlight him. So then, in addition to Quan, staying with Quan, he went to go visit Hershey, and Hershey is going to be on the show next week, which I forget what date that is. Whichever day this comes out, this is going to come out on a Saturday, whatever the following Wednesday date is. I forget which day that is. I think it's the 19th. It is the 19th. So Hershey will be on the prelude on the 19th. Make sure I go check that out. I feel like this is not bright enough. Okay, that should be good. So Quan is at Hershey's house and they're talking about, you know, they're getting a chance to catch up because Hershey's been kind of like MIA, not really with the bullshit. And that's why I'm like, if I was ever on a show like this, I would be Hershey. Like, I'm not gonna be rah-rah, being a part of all the nonsense going on. I'm just like, it's just, not if it doesn't make sense. Like, if there's a genuine thing to talk about, then sure, but this whole whatever that's been going on has just been draining, honestly. And Quan makes a comment or insinuates why he can't really be friends with Alicia, and because of the whole Coke comment. And we discussed this during Alicia's interview, actually. And they were chastising her because you never know, somebody could be having a struggle with cocaine. You never know what that could be. And they used to have a struggle with cocaine. But my thing was, y'all insinuated that she was drunk. And people have that same sort of addiction to alcohol. So it's not, you can't really say that, you should be chastised for making this assumption about me having an issue with Coke, when I'm like, you don't know if I have an issue with alcohol. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we get to discuss that and maybe come to like a amends when we finally do interview Quan. I hope we can have that discussion. But I was just like, excuse me, that right there don't make no sense to me. But maybe I'm reading it wrong. But I'm just like, oh no, I don't necessarily agree with that. But then Miss Jayla comes into the room, and Jayla spits y'all some real ass truth about when it comes to living in LA, okay? Because I was living in LA for about 2 years, right? And LA will chew you up and spit you out. We talked about this a little bit with Jeremy's interview, where people come there just having these dreams of the lights, stardom in Hollywood, and they get there and get their ass kicked. Because she said she was living in a studio apartment. I don't know. She said she's been in LA for 5 years. I don't know if she was in that same apartment for 5 years, but be that as it may, she was leaving a studio apartment and paying $1,600 for a studio. Mind y'all, studios are just like a room. So your kitchen, bedroom, whatever other living space is just all in one big open space, okay? No, you may have a door to a bathroom. That's really it. That's the only door in your apartment is your front door outside, at least from the outside of the apartment, and your bathroom. Only doors in the house. You may not even have any appliances in the house, as far as you know. And you're paying $1,600 living in LA. Okay? I was paying like $1,800 for my one bedroom, just about. Like, it was $1,798, basically $1,800 a month for my one bedroom with that tiny dishwasher, no washer and dryer unit. You still have to pay your $1.50 per load to wash, and $1.50 again in quarters to dry. And it was like 700 square foot or 750 at the most. It is, girls, let me tell you, living in LA is not for the weak. Okay? So when she said that, I was like, baby, you better preach, honey. And she's like, I can get the same thing, or I can get like a whole one bedroom apartment comfortably in Vegas for $700. And that's even now, like, the apartment I'm in now is like just over $1,500, and it's a one bedroom, spacious. You can hear the echo. You know I have space. So I'm like, it don't make no sense to, if you just ain't got it like that, then I do not recommend trying to just make it in LA just because. Unless your business is just so booming and you just have such a great income or means of income to stay there, I do not recommend. That's why I'm here in Atlanta now, because it just wasn't financially, feasible for me to stay there. It just didn't make sense. But I just wanted to point that out because, woo, preach, bitch. Now, this next part, I want to treat very carefully because this was, Hershey telling their story about how they, contracted HIV and how, just how it came about and how they found out about it. And I think it goes to show, I want y'all to think about the fact that Hershey said that they not only found out that they had HIV, and mind you, it had been like 3 years. They had it for 3 years. Didn't know. That goes to show, like, always get tested, because you never know. And luckily Hershey caught it when they did, because, it could have been, it really could have, anything could have happened, is really what I'm going to say. But not only did they have to, go through the mental strain of just realizing that you have this disease, you also have the trauma that you were raped. And those happening at the same time, like, I can't give him, but the utmost respect for not only persevering through that situation, but being able to say it out loud and then say it out loud on a platform of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people. You know what I mean? And he talked about how, you know, people that live with HIV are, you know, especially within the gay community, are considered dirty, undesirable, sick, you know, with all these derogatory things. And so it's like, when you share something like that, you know, potentially set yourself up to be further scrutinized. And I'm just like, but you also know that there's other people out there that can really benefit and, you know, be encouraged by, you know, somebody, because they could be going through the same thing, you know what I mean? So, and that's why I feel like Hershey's so necessary for the show, because Hershey is the balance. Hershey's the only one on this cast, well, not only the only one, but one of the few that haven't been a part of no unnecessary bullshit thus far. Excuse me, and the bullshit continued further into the episode, because let's get to this love-hate mixer. I don't understand. I mean, I guess this is just supposed to be like a kumbaya attempt at, you know, the cast to get together and do whatever on men fences. I'm not sure. So Andre, it looks like Andre and Ian, or Fly King, is the ones that's hosting this. And as soon as King Payne comes into the room, he says he came into the room, and as soon as he walked in, Missy Eleva's I Can't Stand the Rain just so happened to start playing. Andre insists that it was a coincidence. King Payne isn't feeling it and just like, girl, you were trying to throw shade. And my thing is, the fact that it could be either way, and even though Andre said it wasn't, the likelihood that that person would walk in, that you made that particular joke at that specific time, highly unlikely, but also not impossible. So they started going in, and I guess they just got into it. I thought they were going to try to amend fences, but then Andre started getting huff and puffing and saying that you can get the hell out. I don't want no drama. And I'm just like, okay. Here we go. Here we go with the bullshit. But he's still up staying. I'm just like, oh, okay, girl. Then, while Andre is outside, you know, expressing frustration about all things going on, he's out there with Jeremy. And Jeremy says, or gives us the update in the confessionals that somebody was asking, I think it was Quan that was asking, like, you know, why haven't we seen you around? Like, why didn't you get to come to D. Hawkins? Like, it's something that D. Hawkins had an event. And apparently, D. Hawkins told Quan that Jeremy would never be at a D. Hawkins event. I don't know if that's insinuating that he wouldn't allow him to come, or that he doesn't feel like Jeremy would come. I wasn't sure about that. But it sounds more like D. Hawkins wouldn't want him there, and D. Hawkins is trying to bring up a certain thing about Jeremy's past. And if you want to know what that certain thing was, D. Hawkins did mention it in our interview, so make sure I go check that out. I don't want to say that here, but Jeremy's ready to have that discussion, and it looks like from the preview of the next episode, they have that discussion and it goes left. So, mess. It's just mess. It's just mess. So, but I wish we could have saw that this episode, because the rest of this was just kind of confusing. I'm like, wait, why are we mad? I just can't help but feel like we shouldn't be mad. I don't know. Then you got Fly King. So Jeremy and Alicia come in, and I guess not Jeremy. I meant to say Jayla. Jayla and Alicia come in, and I guess they had a conversation, or Jayla had a conversation with Ian, and she was like, you know, oh, you're actually really nice. That's not really, you know, what I had heard about you, or something to that effect. Like, she basically was like, I heard that you were kind of like a cunt, and you're not really acting like a cunt right now, so I appreciate that. And for some reason, Fly King took Andre out and took it like she said something wrong to him. Like, she was like, you're supposed to use critical thinking and common sense not to have that kind of opinion. It's just like, but she didn't say anything bad. She didn't walk up to you and was like, well, I heard somebody told me that you did that. Like, is this true? And it's like, that's not what she did. She actually had a conversation with you first and was just like, oh, you know, I'm actually kind of surprised that you don't like that because I had heard, you know, such and such. Like, she did it in the nicest way possible. She tried to seem like, oh, you could have said it whatever example that Fly King said that she should have said it is exactly the way that she said it the first time, at least in my opinion. So I was kind of confused. I was like, you going off on Jayla about the way that she said what she had heard as if she came up to you abrasively didn't make sense to me, and I was kind of annoyed by that. And I love how I said I was gonna condense this video and it's still like almost 15 to 20 minutes. But we're almost done because, child, they try to do this game, handing out questions, and you have to answer the question or you gotta pass the question. And somehow it started out with Fran and Alicia kind of doing like some mild back and forth. And I'm glad that Alicia kind of said that if you want somebody to respect your pronouns, especially those who are considering themselves non-binary, because there is no outer visual look to what a non-binary person looks like. They could look feminine, they could look masculine, they could look like a man, they could look like a woman, you know. You have to sort of let people know what your pronouns are. And you can't say somebody being disrespectful to you if they use he or she, you know, because only thing that most people go off of is physical appearance and expression. And unless you say otherwise, that's all they got to use. So I'm glad that they had that discussion. But they somehow, because of their back and forth, Andre then gets up and starts, you know, just getting frustrated with, I guess, everybody else fighting and says references like, you bitches this, you bitches that. And I guess Quan gets tired of hearing the words you bitches. And it's like, well, da-da-da-da-da, don't be talking about us, and blah, blah, blah. They start going back and forth. Then Quan uses one of these lines that I really hate. I usually get annoyed with this, and I got annoyed with Natalie Nunn for this years ago at Bad Girls Club. Talking about stuff, I run LA, and Quan is like, you know, I'm from LA, this is my city, blah, 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 blah. And my thing is, when you're in an altercation, like a verbal altercation or argument, what does you being born and raised in the city have to do with our altercation? Like, what we're talking about, because you were born and raised here, what does that have to do with what we're talking about? Or the disagreement at hand? I never understood why people yell and scream that when they're having an argument. Like, I'm from Chicago, or I'm from Detroit. I'm like, okay, what does that have to do? Like, I know it's supposed to be used as like a tactic, or like, well, you know, people from such and such get killed. I'm like, do you know how many crime and stuff happens almost every city in America? Like, I don't know. That just really, really annoyed me. And then they get to the back fighting. It looks like next week, I don't know, Fran looks like he's getting something. Somebody throws a chair. It gets wild. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. And it's sad because I was really like looking forward to being like, you know, the Chasing Reality coming back, but I'm just not as into it as I want to be, and that makes me sad. But I'm still doing the video anyway, you know, for continuity purposes, and it gives me some content to put on my channel, even though it's not like the most hot thing right now, but it is what it is. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the video. I tried. I really did, but I don't know. We'll be here. We'll try to be here next week, y'all. But thank y'all again so much for watching. My social media and links should be in the bottom bar below. Everything is at Jamar84, JAMAR84. And I hope to see you guys next time. Bye, guys.
Like, share, subscribe. Jamar, Washington.